Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Coding My Way In, and let's go straight to the point. Last week you guys knew that I got stuck when it came down with this section. When you select any of the vehicles, I was having issues displaying the images even though I was able to fetch all the information from the JSON file which we have here. So someone brought up a point to see if maybe moving the images from the source folder to the public, maybe it could make a difference. And what I did was, you know what, let me give it a chance and let me see if it works. So if you guys go back to my previous post, in order for me to access these photos or images, however you want to call them, I had to type source / assets / whatever folder I was trying to get. And as you can see now, I don't have to do all that. So what I did was I literally took all the folders that I have images from the assets folder, which was inside of the source folder, and I moved all of it to the public. And all I did was change the path, because for some reason, if you go back to my previous video of last week, you were not able to see the images, but you were able to see the alt. So this was being shown, the alt. So whenever I changed the size of the image, you could see it. The alt of the image would change. So I was like, there has to be something. And I was very like stubborn, thinking like, oh, it's not the path. It can't be the path. And I literally lost hours on hours on that because I was being stubborn. And it really came down to the path. That was the issue. And eventually I sat down and started playing around with it. And the moment I changed the images to the public folder and updated the paths for each of the images, boom, automatically everything worked. So, and look, it's if you click any vehicle, the Rogue, let's say, the Rogue shows up. So all this information is still being shown, and now the images show up as well. And like always you want to make sure, if you're working on an application for even newer developers than me, always make sure that it's responsive. So you want to make sure that the images work, everything is responsive, everything looks nice, and everything looks professional. So always do your best and that's what I'm doing when it comes to my application. I want to make it seem that it's a real application. Yeah, there's going to be things that probably I'm going to be changing, but other than that, that was the changes that I made. And again, it was something very simple, but it's just part of being developing an application from scratch. Like, you are going to come across like little things that are going to take longer than they should, but I think with the more experience that you get, the better you will become to identify these issues. But there will always be something, you know. So again, I was the way that I did it was I moved the images from the source to the public, and then all I did was change the paths. And thanks to that, all this information now passes nicely. So you click any vehicle, and you get the images, and the information is fetched properly. So yeah, and it gives a very nice professional look to the website, which I'm very proud of, man. I know I told you guys, I think like 2 weeks ago, it's crazy. This was a blank page, and now it has all of this. And for some, I know it might not be a big deal, but for me, it is. I can't believe it, you know. Another thing that I worked on this week was that I thought that my website I was trusting the inspect from the Google, and I actually was finally able to, for those that are interested, I was able to upload the website to Netlify for free. So for those that are not aware, you can some of your applications, you can upload it in some websites for free. Netlify is one of them. I know probably as it gets bigger, I will have to pay, but in the meantime, it's currently free. So I truly recommend to anyone, and it's very easy. Like, you just connect your how you call it, your GitHub account, and it literally takes everything from the repository. And the best thing is, the moment you make a change and you push the changes to your GitHub, the Netlify automatically updates the application. It takes there's a delay, 30-40 seconds, but give it a minute, and whatever changes you made here and are uploaded to the GitHub, they automatically get transferred to Netlify, so your website is always updated in each platform: your local, your GitHub repository, and the Netlify application, which I find it pretty cool. So again, just in case you didn't see it, it's called Netlify. That's how I was able to put my application on the web for free, for now. Another thing that I was doing, and I would like for you guys to go to my repository and take a look at the application and tell me if it looks responsive on your end. So I was able to, I have the iPhone 13, and I was able to make sure, because when I started trying it on mobile, I think on Tuesday, there was a lot of mistakes and issues, and one of the things that I was having issues was with this portion here, which is the overview. And I was using No Wrap, which is a class from Tailwind, but it's also CSS. And what I was doing is it was not organizing the text properly. So I had to go back to the application and really work into it so it could look good on all mobile devices. So I'm very happy about that. And you can see here, the icons look small, but it doesn't look like that on my phone. It's probably the way that it's set up and the dimensions from the elements and the, how you call this? I always forget. The inspect, but it looks nice when you go to your website. If you look at it on your phone. But if you see any bugs or anything, please let me know, and so I can work on it. I want to make sure this application is as great as it can be when it comes down to responsiveness and then on the front end before I can go to the next step. Start adding more things to the application as it is going to get bigger. Another thing that I did, I was able to fix the fetching of the images, but the mobile responsiveness, that took me a little bit, but it really comes down to the practice and putting the time in. So based on, since I've been working so much and coding every day, I was able to identify the issues immediately, something that 2 months ago would have taken me forever to even decipher. So that's my advice for a lot of people learning to code every day. I'm telling you, code, show up. If you show up, little by little, you'll make progress. Little by little. They don't have to be massive, but incremental steps, little by little, in a year's time, is going to give you a great return. I'm literally going into my 5th month, and I'm a completely different developer that I was back in February, and it's amazing. And it's hard work. It gets frustrating, but it is worth it, guys. Just keep pushing and don't stop. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys, I know it's not a big deal, but something that I wanted to do for the website. Let me make this a little bit smaller because I wanted to show it. Yeah, okay. So something that I wanted to add to the website was I wanted to, when the person sees the vehicles, right? I wanted to, nothing crazy, but I wanted for people, if you click this button, to get this effect. So if you, let me get out of here. So if you come into the website and click explore vehicles, it will send you directly to the car grids component, which is in the home component being passed through. So this is the car grids component being passed on. And the way that I did this, and I made sure that in any mobile device, it works the same way. I want to make sure that when I click, it stops on here. So anywhere that you try it, if you hit the button, it should scroll to the next component. And I did this through using use ref. I never used ref before as a hook, and basically ref stands for is a reference. So you can use a component that you're trying to access as a reference, and the best way that I can explain it is, so you first need to create the reference, and here's the boilerplate. So you can name this whatever you want. So the way that I named it was card grids ref, card grids. Why? Because these are the card grid component and the reference. And then what you do is you pass that reference that you create here, you pass it all the way to the component that you're trying to reference to. So ref, and this is the boilerplate, and then you pass this, which is the reference that we created here. And then what you do is, once you have that, you go to you gotta make the button that you're trying to click. In this case, this is the button that we're trying to click. So what you do is you do an unclick event, and you pass the reference that you're trying to pass, that current, which is the current screen that you're trying to go, and then you use the scroll into view. So the way that and you add the behavior, which is smooth. All it means is the transition happens smoothly. And scroll into view is literally what it means. Is scroll into the view where you're trying to go, which is card grids ref. And there's different ways that you can do it. One is scroll to, but what it does is you add the same smooth transition, but with scroll to you add the pixels. So you can go down 1,000 pixels, but that doesn't work because depending the dimension of the screen, 1,000 pixels is going to look different. So if you're trying to do it like this, this is the way that I did it. Scroll into view and using it as a reference, and that's how I was able to do this. And then when you go to the card grids component, then you have to use the React forward ref, which is some more boilerplate, and then you need to use the props in the ref that you are passing here, which is this one. So you pass in this here, and then you gotta wrap all of this, and then you have to wrap everything again by passing the ref again. So you like basically double passing again. So the entire component you get wrapped in this ref div, and then that's all you have to do. And the last thing that you want to do is you want to add a display name for the property so the website knows where it's going. So it's very simple. You put card grids or the name of the component that you're trying to reference, the display name equal the name of the component that you're trying to go, and that's how it gets done. And I did that as well with the vehicle nav link. So I did similarly. I wanted to make sure that when someone logs into the website, if they click vehicles, it takes them there as well. I might change that in the future, but for now, that's what I want. I want to make sure that as soon as you see vehicles, it sends you to the grid. And it basically does the same functionality that Explore Vehicle. And this one was a little bit more complicated, but the way that I fixed it was I still use the card grid reference, but here I came across a new hook that I never used before called use location, which is basically just like the URL where you're trying to go, and hash is literally like the hashtag. So the way that I did it was I passed the hashtag of the button of the navigation link, which is vehicles, and then I came here and made sure with an if statement that if the location hash is equal to vehicles, then we using the reference, and then we pass it for it to do the same thing, scroll into view. And then when you do that, you do the same thing. You pass it, and that's how it works. This was a little bit more complicated because I had to add more logic to it, and it took me some time because I've never done it before. So it was very useful, but the magic really happens here on this section, and with the location hash using the use effect. And yeah, that's basically what I have for you guys. I was able to make the website more responsive. I was able to add some more transitions. I was able to get the images to be able to show, and also I made the website public for all of us. So if you guys see it, See you on the next one. Thank you.